observing the body and also the interaction between the self and the body by the self. So in exercise 1, we observe the self. Now, along with observing the self, we are also observing the body and the interaction between the self and the body. So we discussed a little bit about these two distinct entities, the self and the body, how they have different needs, different fulfillment of the needs, differing activities, and differing responses. So we discussed this at length, and we also discussed several questions regarding this. Then we said that these two distinct entities, the self and the body, which are in coexistence, there is some interaction between these two. This interaction between the two has to do with information. Nothing physical gets transferred in this interaction. There is transfer of information. In what way? The self sends some instruction to the body. This instruction is in the form of information. Similarly, there can be many sensations in the body. Many processes are taking place. Digestion is going on, circulation is there, assimilation of food is happening. Many activities are going on in the body, due to which there are several sensations. The self reads these sensations. This reading of sensation by the self, this is also a form of information. So essentially, the entire interaction between the self and the body is only that of information. Nothing physical or physiochemical gets transferred. This much we had discussed, that these are two distinct entities. And now we can take some observations or questions regarding the home assignment. In a way, this home assignment could be considered to be a little unfair, because we have not yet discussed totally what the question is about seeing directly whatever you may gather about the self and about the body. So, if we have any observations to share or any questions regarding this, we can discuss them now. Yesterday also, there was a couple of questions were going on, and we weren't able to get to all the raised hands. So if you would like to share your thoughts now, your observations or questions, we can discuss them. Are we able to see the differences between the self and the body? That these are two distinct entities. You can answer this in the chat. Yes. Amrish ji, Prashant ji, Chandram ji, you all are saying yes. Getting many answers that say yes. So we are able to see that they are two distinct entities, because we can see so far what we have discussed. That their needs are different, fulfillment of needs is also different, activities going on in them are different, their responses are different. So, in a way, that the differences between the two we were able to talk about. Then we come to the interaction between the two. This transfer of information. You give some instruction to your body, body follows. We took some examples of even the transfer of information from the other side, from the body to the self. That many sensations may be going on in the body. As and when the self wants to read any sensation, it can read the sensation. It can get that information about the sensation from the body. And this is also a type of information. So, this whole transfer is in the form of information. Yes. Anbarasuji has mentioned something in the chat. If you can raise your hand, we can discuss it. Abhilash Modi ji.
Namaste, Didi.
Namaste.
Namaste, everyone. Am I properly audible, Didi?
Yes, you're audible.
So, Didi, as per the assignment,
Hmm.
so after practicing daily from last 5 to 6 months, I think I'm able to see that both are
Mhm.
distinct realities on the basis of 2 to 3 things. First,
Mhm.
the needs. I am now clearly able to see 3 things. First, my needs. Second, my body needs. And third, due to my assumptions and preconditioning, how do I mix both needs?
Mhm.
The third part is also I'm able to clearly see. Then when I react, because I understand this thing that when I eat little more, that's obviously not my body need, but I eat more, so I react. So their reaction is there, and then again I see that on my heart starts beating fast. My sometimes I'm able to see some voice in my stomach because I've eaten more. So the information that is getting transferred from self to the body, up to some extent, I'm also able to see. So on the basis of needs, firstly, I feel that both are distinct realities. Second thing is activities as well.
Mhm.
Whatever the thoughts, desires, expectations, these things are going on. Whatever the conclusions I am making, body has to do nothing with it.
Mhm.
When it comes to like I feel pain, self has to do nothing with it. If I'm suppose feeling itching, so self has to do nothing with it. If I'm feeling cold, self has to do nothing with it. So I am able to see the things like this. Even before some time, I have seen my father's dying, so I have seen this thing. The body was there. Okay, what was there, which was not there. That's why my father was not able to move. So when the captain is not there in the ship can't move. So similarly, there was nothing which was in my father, or there was not any consciousness in the father, so that it could instruct to move, so that heart could beat, so that thoughts could be there. No, sorry, thoughts, no. So that mind could think creatively like this. So I guess uh, by this as well, we can see that because dead body is something when we are able to see that that's just body, there is no self. So this also helps up to some extent because I saw it very closely. So I'm
Mhm.
exemplifying like this.
Yes.
So and about just self, so obviously that's a certain level thing. So I'm not able to see self
Mhm.
without body. I'm not having that power. But within me, or I see that there are activities going on, and whenever I react. because maximum times when I mix both the activities, mix both the needs, so that's not a natural thing for sure. So I react. I'm able to see that information is creating problem in my body as well, which is also known as in the long term psychosomatic diseases. So really like this, I see it. If there is any gap, please guide me.
Very nice. It's nice that we can um, notice this, that the needs are very different. Activities also are very different in the self and in the body. Our responses are also very different. This fact that the body response is definite, its recognition and fulfillment is definite. My responses are based on whatever my assumption is about anything about myself. Like you said, we mix the
Yes,
body
Didi.
and the self. Then, if we assume something, then we um, start thinking along those lines, and we our response becomes according to that. Our thoughts go in that direction, and so on. So, I would keep it little open here, where we say that you know when we have itching or when we have pain, that self doesn't have much to do with it. This is what you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, right?
Ji, ji,
So the sensation is happening in the body.
ji.
In fact, if you see, what is really happening in the body is some physiochemical change is taking place.
Mm-hmm.
For example, there is a wound on the body. You are walking, you stumble and fall, the toe gets injured, right?
Ji.
Now this injury is in the body. Actually, this injury is what? Some change has happened. Chemical
Correct.
change has happened in the body. But who feels the pain?
Self.
Self feels the pain. So
Exactly.
I give it that meaning that this is painful,
Hmm.
unpleasant sensation.
Ji.
And then we start avoiding. Of course, one part of it is if we can see the responsibility, we will fix it. We will try to dress the wound, clean the wound, dress the wound, and all of that so that it can go back to its normal state. And how does it go back to the normal state? That's also very interesting. There are so many self organized methods going on in the body. You don't have
Hmm.
to do anything to heal it, isn't it? You can
Ji.
wash it with water, dress the wound. What you are doing with that is you're trying to prevent some other infection from happening. But that doesn't heal the wound. What heals the wound is the body's own processes, isn't it? Just like when there is a fracture in the body, what does the doctor do? He takes an x ray and tells you, or he asks you to take an x ray, and he can see that the bone is broken. What does he do? He says we have to put the plaster. What does the
Hmm.
plaster do? Does it heal the bone? No.
No, no, no.
All it does is to immobilize those areas so that
Hmm. They can get fixed.
they get fixed by the body itself.
Yes, exactly.
So many processes do go on in the body, but the interpretation of what this means to it, the body, or what it means to me, the self, that interpretation I am doing. So therefore, any sensation is what this process that happened in the body, like the wound or any digestive process. You said the sound in the body when
Hmm.
the body is digesting the food.
Hmm.
So all this is happening in the body, but when I start reading it, now I am involved. If it was not for my intervention and being able to read this sensation, Nothing would happen. Meaning, digestion, once I have put the food in, it will digest.
Hmm.
Those processes will go on. But somewhere when I feel the pain, then I decide to take some action, do something that will keep the body in harmony, isn't it?
Ji.
So even if there is stomach pain or anything, if you see some indigestion, the the body will not have a problem with it. Body will go into disharmony. That is correct. But beyond that, no, body tries to come back to harmony by its own processes, but it doesn't feel any emotion.
Hmm.
So even when we say hunger, some chemicals are being released in the body, but I interpret it as hunger. I interpret pain. I interpret so many things like that. So there, my involvement is there. You know?
Ji.
Any question about this?
Uh, Didi, I have a question that can be just a curiosity, not inquisitiveness. So you can also remove this. Suppose for there is a dead body, for an example. If we say the body is self-organized,
Mhm,
so if suppose that a person is there who has just got died and he got died in an accident where his leg was also broken, means the bone was broken of the leg. If we
mhm.
try to fix it with the plaster, even that is a dead body, if we try to fix it, it will not get fixed, I guess.
Yes, it will not. See, the major difference between a dead body and a person who is living is
Hmm.
the association of the self, which you
Hmm.
rightly said, isn't it?
Yes, 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 yes.
The self chooses to, decides to associate with the body.
Correct.
So then it, you can say, enlivens the body.
Yes,
The
yes, yes.
decision to associate is that of the self. So
Hmm.
when the self decides to dissociate from the body, now the body is only matter without any enlivening by the self.
Hmm. Correct.
So it goes the same route. It is still organized, self
Hmm.
organized, in the sense that all matter is, in a way, self organized. Things are happening. The soil
Hmm.
undergoes some change. So
Hmm.
this decay, this degeneration of the body starts happening slowly, as now the life force is not there with the body.
Yes, exactly.
Hmm?
G, 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 G.
Okay.
Means only the decomposition that
Yes,
will happen either
those
through
processes will
fire or
continue to
anything.
happen
It will continue.
in the
Yes.
normal way.
Yes, yes, yes.
But now the decision making, the
Hmm.
choice matter is not there. Now it
That's
will
not right.
do that routine process.
G, G, exactly.
जी,
Thank you, Didi. Thanks for
thank you.
making it clearer. Thank
जी. नीतू चौहान जी,
Hey, Didi,
नमस्ते.
am I audible? Yeah, I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes, Didi, this regarding this between the self and the body, the interaction between the self and the body.
Mhm,
So yesterday I could see that interaction. So in yesterday when my car was there in the parking, so someone, while taking his or her car out, they just brushed past my car.
mhm,
And there was a dent as well as a scratch on my car. So when
mhm,
I saw it in the evening when I was coming back, I did not see it. My friend saw it. She said, "What happened this?" So she thought it was from some previous driving. No, I said the car was fine in the morning. So some
mhm,
white car because there was white paint on my car.
mhm,
So she just mentioned, and I was just sitting in the car. I just sat, and then I could see that I could feel something bad inside me. And there
mhm,
was something which was going on in the body.
mhm,
Then first I thought that I will go it home and then check it. But then I decided. I decided, I opened the door, came out of the car, and then checked it again. Okay, so what is the damage? And but I was not very much disturbed at that moment. So when I came back home and again I checked, and I could feel that the dent was a little more. So that time I could see that the body was, you know, the self and body, they both were not in harmony. So there was something which I felt, I hope you can understand something like you feel in your heart when you are not feeling good. So there was this feeling in this body also, and self was trying to bring it to harmony. So I do chanting in the mornings and evenings. So I came home and I did some chanting also just to bring myself to harmony. But I could see that even during the night, I was sleeping like early in the morning when it's time for me to wake up. I could see that even though I was asleep, I could feel that some pain in my body. And the self was trying to do something to reduce that feeling of discomfort in the body. So like this we can see the difference between the self and the body. The body is not comfortable, but the self is trying to bring it to harmony by different means that I know, taking deep breaths, doing chanting, like this. So please share something with you on this.
Ji. So some processes are happening in the body, something is happening in the self. है ना? What happened to the car? It is an object, material object, right? Some damage happened to the car. Now, who interpreted this as a problem? The car, the
self,
body, or the self?
the self.
The self interpreted it as a problem. Why? Because I can see that, this car belongs to me and now I have to do something about this. It is not in the state that it was before, and so on. So, one possibility can be that I see that this has happened, and okay, now anyway, nobody is there. Whatever happened has already happened, that person is gone. What I need to do is I need to fix the car. That can be one possibility. Another possibility can be that I get a little disturbed, that what has happened. Now, this disturbance, you mentioned something happened in the heart. Is this disturbance in the body or is it in me? What do you feel?
I feel that there is discomfort in the body.
Okay.
Self is also not comfortable. But
So keep
like,
it, na?
okay. Mhm.
Self is not comfortable. Why is the self not comfortable? Because
Yeah, because of the damage.
damage means because I am feeling attached to that car. It is my object.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
है ना? If somebody else's car had gotten damaged, maybe I would not have been disturbed.
I would have been disturbed, but I think but then this discomfort would not have been there. I would
That's
feel
what.
bad.
If I am disturbed, I will have some
Okay.
discomfort.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
see, we discussed even in the previous exercise, if we see whatever I feel, accordingly my thoughts start going. Whatever I have assumed, based on that, I feel something. Based on that, I start having thoughts. And this has impact. This has impact outside. So it will impact the body also, right? So keep it open right now, whether there is some discomfort in the body or there is discomfort in the self, which is having some impact on the body. And when we do the further um, points of the exercise, further steps, then we'll discuss this in more detail. But keep it open.
Okay. Ji.
Try to see this, whether discomfort is happening in the body or some change has happened in the body. And because I had discomfort in me, there was some impact on the body. Hmm?
Ji. So, yeah, I will observe this, Didi.
Yeah.
Ji.
Okay.
Thank you, Didi.
Anvarasuji?
Yes, Didi, good morning. Am I
Good
audible?
morning. Yes, you're audible.
Yes, Didi, as I said in chat, I
Hmm.
couldn't be able to see this reality in continuity.
Hmm.
Maybe as Abhilash Bhai said, due to preconditions and previously so much years I assumed myself as body. And also now only I could be able to, I'm trying to see the differences in needs. Previously we used to confuse with the needs of the self and body, food,
Yes.
sex and everything.
Yeah.
So I think it needs continuous awareness in me, and maybe this exercise too will open up the reality to see clearly how I am giving the instruction to the body. And one thing I could able to see that there is no assuming and knowing happening in the body level. It
Hmm.
always functioning at recognition and fulfilling.
Hmm.
Uh, Also, this imagination that's going in the self that I
Hmm.
could able to see. Maybe whenever I am aware, I could able to see the difference. But still, I forgot to see my relatives and my friends as a self. I again going back and seeing them as body and evaluating them based on the body. So it is
Ji.
there. In a moment, I could able to see, but in continuity, evaluating myself and other as a self, it's not happening in me. Didi.
Ji. Yes. So this certainly takes time. And it's nice that you were able to express this, because this is how we move forward. You know, we have some assumptions regarding ourselves as human beings, which we have been carrying on for a long time. Now, to come out of that assumption, until and unless we can see directly, we will move to another assumption. And as you rightly mentioned, by talking about the needs and the activities, all of this, now some different information I have got from maybe early times. Before I got this information, I may have had some other information. That information led me to believe something, you know, or past experience or whatever, led me to believe something about myself as a human being. Now I am getting some different information. I may start to believe something different. So ultimately, that belief will get broken only when I can directly observe this.
Yes, Didi. I have to see directly in continuity.
Yes. So that will take time, definitely. You know?
Mm. Yes,
But
Didi.
till
But
then,
there is
huh, please go ahead.
some progress is happening at the level of like understanding. Maybe not maybe the understanding as a belief level. Like purely there is no knowing and assuming in the body. Whatever
Mm,
I decide, it fulfills.
yes, nice. So we will, like you said, we'll discuss it in more depth in exercise 2.
Yes,
But
Didi.
for now,
Maybe
I think at least we can appreciate this, that they seem to be two different entities because their needs are different, their activities are different. There is a sense of continuity in the self, that the need is also continuous, the activities are also continuous. There is a sense of temporariness in the body, that the needs are temporary, the activities are temporary. And that we have also been able to see from experience, because when we witness a dead body, like Abhilashji was mentioning, we are able to see this directly. But so far as
yes,
the self is concerned, we are not able to see directly because it is more subtle, and we are not able to see with the gross sense organs of the body. So, therefore, there is an issue. But when we see directly, when we are able to see the thoughts going on, then you know that you are there. You know? So, that will come to in a moment. It is in part of this step only that we will discuss those issues. How we come to know actually that I am there and the body is also there. We'll discuss that in a moment. Yeah.
yes, Didi. Thank you, Didi.
Thank you. Rekha Ajikumar ji.
Hello, namaste, ma'am.
Namaste.
Um, my question is a bit connected to this, but
Mm-hmm.
also a little different. I had this
Mm-hmm.
in mind because we attend UHV, just now we completed UHV2 offline in our college.
Mm-hmm.
So again, a good clarity I got about self and body. Again, we
Mm-hmm.
need to explore more. That's what I feel. But I always
Yes.
had this in my mind. There are certain people in our society, we call them as mentally challenged. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in them, do we connect to the self and body concept for them? The body, and then do they also have the realization of the self in them? And do we connect the self in them? So I just want a clarity of this part. Ma'am, is my question clear?
Yes, yes.
Thank you,
See,
thank you.
if you look at
Correct.
the essence in all human beings is the same. Every
Hmm.
human being is a coexistence of self and body. Every human being has a self that is associating with the body. Self is consciousness, body is material. This part is the same in all. This is what is being said. Now, this we have to explore and check for ourselves, right?
Hmm.
So, imagination does go on in the self. No?
Yeah.
When you have to express that imagination outside, you take the help of the body.
Hmm.
Even in the imagination, whatever thoughts you're having, right?
Hmm.
When you are um, thinking about, say, a mathematical problem,
Yeah.
or if you are thinking about, uh, say, the shape or form or the quality of something, now you
Hmm.
are using your mind to do that, but to some extent, you are also taking help of the brain
Yeah.
for calculations, for those kind of things.
Hmm.
So now, if the problem is there in the body, supposing there is a problem in the brain,
Yeah.
then we may not be able to do these functions very accurately.
Hmm.
But the self exists. There is feeling also. You know?
Yeah.
Ultimately, realization is an activity which is the highest activity in the self. And the higher
Correct.
activities in the self, for those we don't need to use the body. But to be able to see the higher activities, if we are starting from below, then slowly we will go forward, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, when you interact with somebody who is mentally challenged, it may be a good idea to relate to the self of the person. Because anyway, feelings, emotions are where? In the self or in the body?
The self.
Self.
Yeah.
So we can relate to them, we can discuss things with them. They may not fully understand everything you say, but your feeling comes across. And you will notice this. Many people who have worked with mentally challenged children, if they directly try to connect with the self, they have much more success. But
Correct.
if
Yeah.
we ourselves are not aware that we are self and body and every human being is self and body, then that confusion comes. So many people in counseling or in the medical field, they may approach a person like that, ask the questions to the parent because they are not able to get the answer from the child. And so they completely bypass the child and keep
Mm.
talking to the parent about the child. You see?
Mm.
So here we are not even trying to connect with the self.
Mm.
So if we can see the relationship is what? It is with the body or with the self?
The self.
The self. So the self is there, but it may not be able to function in terms of expressing. There could be many issues. What the
Mm.
issue is, we'll have to, there could be a variety of reasons.
Mm.
But essentially, the problem could be something in the body,
Mm.
and it is like a self being trapped in a body like this.
Mm.
You know? Similarly,
Yeah.
some people who are unconscious, we say, or they are in
Mm.
coma.
Coma state.
Hmm. So we don't know whether, until and unless we go and see what the actual situation is, it may be like the self is able to function, but there are limitations of the body, and therefore things cannot be expressed outside. There could be many things, many possibilities of problems could be there. Certainly, problems can be there in the self also. You know?
Mm.
How I think, how I feel, all that is part of the self. We can see for ourselves also if we have a certain belief system.
Correct.
Accordingly, we start acting. Accordingly, we think. Accordingly to our belief, we feel. Accordingly, we think, and we start putting it into action. So, some
Yeah.
people commit crimes.
Mm.
Problem in self or problem in body?
Self and
Self. So,
self.
problems, and I wouldn't even call it a problem. I would say there is lack of understanding there. है ना?
Yeah.
Because somewhere they believe that committing this crime will help them in some way.
Mm.
It could be for money, it could be for something else. Na?
Mm. Yeah.
So it is lack of understanding there. It is a strong belief in something which is not so.
Mm.
है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
So essentially, I think for any person that we come across, even if we think mentally challenged, we should try
Mm.
to connect to the self. You will find more success there. And this has been done.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Didi. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarika Anilji.
Namaste, Didi.
Namaste.
Namaste to all. Um, in the previous discussion, Didi, you said to directly observe. So, like when I was also trying to directly observe about the self and the body, and at that time, at that point of time, I I thought I understood that. I mean, it something more clearer came to me. Uh, uh, so, but again, I found like then I forgot about that. Later on, I forgot about the entire thing what I have understood also. So I want to know what is the process of realization. If you could uh, guide me on that, because I haven't realized that. That is the reason I have forgotten. Once I realize, it will be there.
Yeah, see, again, as Ambara Suji was mentioning, all this, what we are doing in terms of when we talk about something like now that chart that we showed. Now we have seen that chart many, many times. Huh? Self and body, differences between self and body. So we have received that information, isn't it?
Yes.
So it is leading to some sort of belief. But previously, many experiences we have had, many belief systems that have been there from before, make us think that I am body, or self and body is one thing. I can't see them differently because I believe something like that. So, because I believe that, I think that is only true. Now, I am getting another belief, but now these are conflicting beliefs. You know? So, sometimes that belief becomes active, sometimes this belief becomes active. So, sometimes I feel, no, I am self. Other times, again, when I am not aware, I think I am body. You know? And this goes on and on. Can you see this?
Yes, yes, Didi.
So an example is, like I have given several times this example, but for newcomers who may not have heard it, it's like if we take the example of, say, a person who takes charge of elephants,
Mm-hmm.
mahout. So when the elephant is small, the mahout ties up, puts a rope around the neck of the elephant and ties it with a peg and puts the peg in the ground. So the baby elephant is not strong enough to come out of that peg that has been tied to the ground. He tries little bit to come out of it, but he is not able to come out of it. Then he gives up. Why? Because now he has figured out that this is not happening. Can't do it. So he stops trying. This same baby elephant grows up, becomes a big elephant. Now also the mahout ties it the same way with that small peg in the ground. Big elephant has the capacity, has the power to even uproot trees, isn't it?
Yes.
It doesn't do anything. It doesn't try to come out of this. Why? Because of the belief, the assumption that it is of no use. It can't be done. So many a times you will see that what stops us from doing some action is this belief that it can't happen. It's not possible because we believe something different. For example, when we talk of, having the right feeling within, despite the situation outside. So many people share this, that how is it possible? If somebody is shouting, if somebody is misbehaving, how can I have the right feeling? It's not possible. So we don't even try, because we already believe that this can't happen. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, Didi.
So ultimately, what we need to do, we need to keep things open. The moment we close that door, we think we can't open it, है ना? Or we can't go outside. So how do you keep it open? So till you are able to see it directly, don't just believe it. Even for this self and body. Yes, we have this information, and this information is good information. We can use it. But until and unless we see it directly for ourselves, till then, it will be another belief, and our feelings, our thoughts, our behavior will be according to that. है ना? So when you see realization is a specific word we are using for the highest activity within the self. That will take some time to be there, even though that is the state of pure observer, even though we may be referring to the natural acceptance, that pure observer, even though we may be looking from there from time to time. But until and unless we can directly be there the whole time and be able to see all our lower activities, be able to see the body, to see outside, everything directly, then only that clarity will be there about each and every unit in this existence and how it is existing. So that is a long process. But whatever bits and pieces we can see directly, we will keep seeing. What we can't see directly, we can keep it open. There is no rush. Don't decide one way or the other. No? Does that make sense?
Yes, Didi. Yeah. And I have one more question. Can I ask?
Yes.
Like in the previous discussion, when we were saying about the people who are special children. So in that case, you said to associate with the self. So could you tell me how to associate with the self? Like what
Just
do you?
like how you would associate with any self. You talk to them, you look at them, talk to them. They may or may not answer, but something will be, some stimulation they will also get. There are many people who have done work with mentally challenged children, and what they find is until and unless you associate with the self, you cannot get good results. See, if we keep medicating the body, self is not going to get anything out of it. So if you really want to work with a child who is like that, who you would like to improve in some way, you will be more sensitive to their needs, whatever they are not able to express. At the same time, you will directly connect with the self. So such children, if you see their families, especially their mothers, they will be very aware. Now he's unhappy. Now he's like this, even though the child is not saying anything. Why? Because they can relate to that. They can see that. So if you are interacting for the first time, you may not be able to see it. But each time you do interact like this, you will be able to notice many things. Isn't it?
Yes, Didi.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Didi.
Okay, there are a couple more hands raised, but I think we should go forward on the slide a little bit. Then we can come back to the raised hands. Let's go to the next part of the slide. Yes. So this is actually what what we need to do is to observe directly. Na? How you can observe that you are there. How can you see that you are there? You can see, we talked about the imagination going on within us. Now you're not using the eyes to see the imagination, isn't it? You are seeing directly that there is some feeling, there are some thoughts, there are some expectations going on. Some of us may have been able to see some of the superficial sanskars. So now, based on this, you can say that I am there, I exist, isn't it? Even if the body is damaged, you don't say that I am damaged. You say my hand got damaged, or my foot got damaged, or this happened, or that happened. But who is that I? So you can see that somebody is there who is witnessing this. No? That person is you, the self. So you exist. You are an existential reality. If you go from childhood to adulthood, many changes happen in the body. No? You see, you were a small child, then you are getting, the body is getting bigger and bigger, and as an adult, so many changes happen. As you start aging, again changes are there in the body. So many things are changing. But the person who is witnessing this, the actual entity that witnesses this, is that changing? You can say that when I was small, I was like this, or I used to think like this. So, who is that I who is able to see this, what happened in childhood also, what happened in adulthood also, even though they were all different experiences, different things happening, different changes in the body, even different changes in the way of thinking? Eventually, we'll come to that. But who is the person who is witnessing this? That is the self. That is who you are. You know? So, on the basis of observing your activities, you can say that you exist, that you are a reality, that you are there, very much so. What about the body? The body is also there. Now, how do you decide that the body is there? There are two possibilities, right? You can either observe directly by the self regarding the body, or you read some sensation from the body. That's how you decide that the body is there. Think about it. If you see, you can say that I can see the body. When I stand in front of the mirror, I can see the body. But what do you mean when you say you can see the body? The image or the reflection of that body is falling on the eye of the body, and you, the self, are interpreting that this is my body, isn't it? So, what you are seeing, this image falling on the eye, this is also a sensation. It is some change, some reflection has fallen on the eye. Now, when I start interpreting, then I say, okay, this is my body. Same is true when you see the hand, when you see the foot, when you see something, some part of the body. So basically, what you are doing is you are reading some sensation from the body, and so you know that the body is there. The body is a reality, it exists, it is an existential reality. So now you can try to observe this, that the self and the body are two distinct realities, based on this. So we don't have much time, so we may not be able to do that direct observation right now. Maybe we'll just stop for a minute and just try to observe this directly, or in whatever way you can observe that the body is there, and then we'll come back and take your observations in just a minute. Okay, just try to observe the second part, that the body is there. Okay, any questions regarding this, seeing the body in this manner? If we have any questions regarding this, we'll take that first. Then we can come back to Prashantji and Chandrasekharji. Any difficulty in observing? Are you able to see that when we read the sensation from the body, that's how we are observing that the body is there? Or are we doing it in some other way? You can answer in the chat if you like. How you are able to observe that the body is there? Are you reading some sensation, or is there any other way that you are seeing the body? Any question about this? This is important because from here we'll go forward and try to see in more detail, more depth, right? So, observing the senses, many of you have replied. One answer from Sangeeta ji is breath movement. Even in breath movement, who is experiencing that? Who is witnessing that? Breath movement, you probably mean that the breath is going in and the breath is coming out. You can feel the cool air going in, the warm air coming out. That sensation on just outside the nose, who is interpreting that? Who is seeing that? Right? So by that, you might say something about the body, right? Okay. Time is up. So I think right now we won't be able to take questions, but we'll reflect on this, the same assignment that we took today. Now we will look at it in a new light in terms of observing ourselves on the basis of seeing our activities going on within the imagination, and observing the body on the basis of seeing the body or reading sensation from the body. So then we can say that these are two distinct entities that exist. So we'll try to do this all day today, and tomorrow we'll take more observations. Ji, Tara ji.
जी 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 जी